Jon Hamm, you beautiful son of a bitch. How the hell are you?
Very well, thank you.
First question out of the gate. Everybody's got a favorite Top Gun song. What's your favorite song from the soundtrack?
Oh boy. You know, it's a tough one, but I gotta go with Danger Zone. How do you not? It's there's an experience to making this movie, and you're not singing it actively, but it's definitely playing at a low volume in your head quite often.
Yeah.
And I've been getting on the on-ramp to the highway to the danger zone for some time, waiting for this movie to come out, so it's pretty cool.
Well, was there any point on set where you had to sort of pinch yourself and you were like, holy crap, I'm in a Top Gun movie?
On more than one occasion. I mean, it was kind of a daily reminder you're just like, this is happening, this is actually happening. And then to actually finish the movie and then sit on the movie for 2 years because of pandemic and this and that's and everything else, for it finally to be coming out and we're able to share it with everybody. We're so proud of the film. It's a wonderful film, but for people to actually finally get to see it is really thrilling. So yeah, I've been pinching myself for quite some time.
It's pretty impressive and amazing that you got this opportunity to be in this iconic movie. You've been in all sorts of iconic stuff. Are there any roles that you've ever that fill you with regret that you didn't take?
You know, I don't have. I've been really fortunate in my career, and I'll be the first one to say it. I don't have a lot of regrets. There haven't been a lot of movies that I've almost gotten that it would have been nice to be in that. The only franchise that I always wanted to be in that I just never have been able, for whatever reason, was the Star Wars franchise. That for me was like the first big movie when I was 6 or 7 years old or whatever it was when it came out, that I was like, this is probably the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life and will ever see. But this is a close second.
There's still time.
There is still time.
There's still time.
There's plenty of iterations out there.
I'm sure
now,
there's ways we can make that happen. I say we, like I haven't.
Well,
I know you probably know that I'm from Comicbook.com, and you think, great, he's going to ask me a superhero question, and you're right. So I need to know, you've talked about being a big fan of X-Men, and that you almost had this Mr. Sinister role. Well, now that the MCU's kind of become so prevalent, and they talk about the X-Men are going to eventually come back. If that was an opportunity where they wanted to recast that role, or not recast it because it's never been cast before, but would that be something that you'd be interested in taking on still?
For sure. That franchise and that franchise. It's so weird to talk about it that way, but I was a big fan of just reading the comic books when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The X-Men of the 80s, and it remains. I remain a fan. It's an interesting, very cool story, for want of a better word. And I think that what they've been able to do and I think their plans, and I've talked to people that plan these kinds of things, with how they are expanding these stories and the wit and the creativity with which they are presenting these stories really gets back to the old kind of the way that comics were presented. I think when you see something like the most recent Spider-Man, which was such a cool iteration of that idea of a multiverse and what's happening and how three things can exist at the same time. It's very creative, and the way that they lean into that creativity is something that for sure I'd be happy to be a part of.
Well, Mr. Sinister is one of those comic book characters too, that he looks so cool and striking in the comic books, and I would love to see them pull that off in live action. But anyway, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I know you're busy. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today.
Appreciate it.